All right, hi there friends. This is Cole from the Arizona Science Center, and today I wanted to kind of change up our online content just a little bit. So today I'm actually going to be introducing you to my favorite creature in the entire world, the giant African millipede, but not any giant African millipede. I'm actually going to introduce you to my giant African millipede, Otis. So you can see Otis right there, kind of crawling around on the moss inside of his enclosure. Otis is about 5 to 6 inches long, but during his entire lifespan, he'll get anywhere up to 15 inches. What do you say we actually get a closer look at him? I'm going to see if I can go ahead and grab him. So this is his home. It's very, very damp and moist because where Otis comes from is the tropical rainforests of Africa. So he needs a very moist and damp area to live in. Let's go ahead and see if he'll take to my hand. And if not, I might need to get a little bit more forceful to get him up here. But I want you guys to be able to see this amazing creature. So, oh, he's clinging onto that moss. Come on, buddy, let's say hi to all our amazing patrons and fans. All right, he's clinging onto some moss. Let's leave him with that. So, he lives in these really, really damp, or his species, I should say, live in these very, very damp rainforests in Africa. So he needs to have a very moist and humid environment to live in. As you can see, his exoskeleton, which is his outside shell, has all these little bumps and ridges. Those are his body segments. So essentially, as he grows and molts and loses his old skin, he grows these brand new body segments. And the cool thing about that is that each one of these body segments has 2 pairs of legs, so 4 legs in total. Oh, there he is. He's kind of walking around a little bit. You can see all these tiny little legs moving in kind of like a wave-like formation. He looks to be a little bit agitated, probably a little bit frightened, although he also doesn't really understand what's going on because he has a very, very bad eyesight. Millipedes mainly rely on their sense of touch in order to get around. That's why you can see his little antenna moving around right there. So one of the most common questions I get asked about him is, what does he eat? Well, millipedes, like Otis, are detrivores, which means that they eat dead organic material. Now, in the rainforest where he lives, or where his species lives, I should say, there is a ton of decaying wood and plants, leaves, moss, and everything for him to munch on. But over here in Arizona, I kind of have to supplement that for him. So that's why I put a lot of like wood and bark in his enclosure when there's so much moss and everything, because that's the main way that he gets his moisture, his water intake. Oh, when he's going on a little trip, let's go ahead and see if we can get a little bit closer to show him off and show off those amazing legs doing what they do. So that is mainly what he eats. Another question I get asked is, are millipedes dangerous? And they are not. Oftentimes they'll get confused for centipedes, which are a little bit dangerous. And I'll get a little bit more into that in a second. But essentially, millipedes are pretty much harmless. They do have a really unique self-defense mechanism, though. Whenever they feel really agitated or in danger, they will coil up into a little ball and emit this toxic fluid from their pores in the body that acts as an irritant. It helps scare away enemies like giant ants, driver ants actually, or any sort of like other creature that wants to gobble them up. And there he goes. I'm gonna make sure his back half doesn't fall. Thankfully, I haven't had that situation with Otis yet, so I think he's doing pretty well. He's got a pretty comfy life in this little world that I built him and everything. So I mentioned that they get confused sometimes with centipedes. Now, centipedes are kind of like them. They're very, very similar structure, but there are some major differences that you can use to help you identify the two and see if you're dealing with something that might be dangerous to you or something that's just this really cool kind of herbivore. Now, centipedes have fewer body segments and much fewer legs. I think I mentioned it earlier, but Otis will have between 300 and 400 throughout his life. Fully grown, of course, with just to help him move around and whatnot. Centipedes have a much smaller amount, excuse me, and they also only have they only have 1 pair on each body segment as opposed to the 2 that millipedes have. Centipedes also are venomous, which means that they can inject a poison, or venom I should say, into your bloodstream and give you a nasty bite. They have these specialized front legs that actually act as fangs, and they use it to kind of pinch their prey and inject this really, really nasty venom. Millipedes don't have that. They are entirely harmless, beautiful little herbivores that go around and eat up the trash of the natural world, and they're just some pretty cool creatures. So Again, this is Cole from the Arizona Science Center. I hope you enjoyed this quick little introduction to the millipede and all that he is. If you want to learn more about some creepy crawlies and whatnot, or just want to learn more about science in general, go ahead and check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all the other socials as well. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you for tuning in.